In this demonstration, I'm going to explain how will you read the file content from the app. That is, in this demonstration, I'm going to keep the file as an external resource. So how will you handle this? I'm going to start a project, go to next, then minimum SDK 22, or you can go for minimum 21 as you wish. Go to next, and I'm selecting an MD activity, then next, then finish. Yes. And you can see that now it is giving app combat activity. It is not just activity alone. So you may have a doubt, what is the difference between app combat activity and the activity? You can feel the difference in the user interface. So if you are interested, you can surf regarding that matter more. Okay, otherwise leave it. We are going to focus more on how will you keep a file as an externalizable resource, that is an external resource, and how will you access that file content through your app. That only we are going to discuss mainly. So here I have an activity main.xml. Here we have a text view. So in this text view we are going to set the data which we are reading, which we are reading from the text view. So there is some default text. I'm going to delete it, and I want the Android ID here, the ID for the text view. Let it be some text view like that. Fine. Now I'm going to get that text view, do the necessary typecasting, find v by id r.id dot text view. To get this id only, I inserted that Android :id attribute. Fine. Now I'm going to keep some static file. I'm going to take some file. So here I have some file in this folder, some my test.txt. This text file I'm going to use it. I'm going to open it. It contains 2 lines of text, first line and second line. So this I'm going to just copy it, and I'm going to put it in the raw folder. So first of all, I need to create a raw folder in the resource. So right click over the resource, go to new, Android resource directory, and here you have to mention in the resource type, say that raw. You can see that by default it takes that raw name. Don't change the name. Click OK. Now do right click over here. What we have copied, I'm going to paste it, and it will ask whether you want to give the new name or not. If you don't want to change the name, leave it. Click OK. You can see that now it is loaded here, and you can see the lines. These 2 lines are there. So this is an external resource for our project. This content we are going to read, and we are going to set in this text view. In the text view we are going to set it. So how will you get it? So for that we have to use, first of all, get the resources. For that we have a standard method, get resources. As you know, its return type is resources. So once you get the resource, we can call a method called open raw resource, and you can see that its return type is input stream. So we can use control space bar to get the documentation, and you can see what does it say. It opens a data stream for reading a raw resource, and this can only be used with the resources whose value is name of an asset files. It means to open drawable, sound and raw resources. Please listen this one. See this one. It will fail on string and color resources. So you should be very careful when you are using this open raw resource. And we have to pass some parameter ID. The ID is the resource identifier to open as generated by this APPT tool. Hope that all of you know this tool. So open raw resources. So what is that? R dot? We have to say raw dot. You can see my test. So my test. And now we are going to check what is the return type. The return type is an input stream data. So input stream object. Now we need to read it. So I'm going to use the buffered reader class, buffered reader, some reference variable, new buffered reader, new input stream reader, then followed by input stream. So in this file we have multiple lines of text, so I'm going to use some string buffer to append the data in every iteration. So I'm going to use a string buffer equal new string buffer. Then I'm going to declare a string object. This is for the temporary storage for every read line operation of the buffered reader class. So I have to use a while we are going to read it. How will you read it? Buffered reader dot read line. So you can read and you can check it whether it is null or not. So first I am going to store this in my data. And see that whether it is not equal to null. And you can see it generates some exception, IO exception. We need to handle it. Select it, and now we can see a red bulb indicator is coming. It shows surround with try catch. Now we need to append it. If it is not equal to null, we are going to append it. Take the string buffer object dot append my data. That is the data which is read by using the readline method. Okay, now we are going to check what is the resultant. So I'm going to run it, deploy the thing into the emulator. Now the one thing is missing. Now we appended everything to the string buffer. Now we need to set that data into the text view. So that data is pending now. That step is pending. So we have the text view object dot append the string buffer. Now we are going to check whether we are getting the expected output or not. It's getting reinstalled, and now you can see we are getting the data first line, second line, but we want the second line exactly in the new line. So how it can be done? We can say join with a new line character. That's all. it will insert a new line. Now again we are going to check it. Are we getting the expected output or not? And now we can see first line is coming in the first line, second line is coming in the second line. So that's all. Thank you.